Jim Costa in for Rico. Mike will make his way in here any minute. Hell, he said this is my topic anyway. I want to talk about the preseason. I got calls over the weekend, people upset they didn't play the starters. I don't know that you're going to see the Lions starters the rest of the preseason. I don't think they should play on Friday. I don't think Campbell's done a bad job at all. You have the joint practices. I don't need to see Jared Goff. I don't need to see David Montgomery. I don't need to see this starting offensive line because I think you saw what happens if one of those guys get hurt. This team has zero offensive depth. So I think they made the right call, not running all those guys out there. But there was one exception. I'm going to raise an eyebrow. They sat all their starters and key rookies. Jack Campbell, not a key rookie? Playing into the third quarter of the preseason? Laporta's not. Branch isn't. Gibbs isn't. Am I missing something? Is Campbell not an important player? He was the big front seven addition for a team that wants to stop the run. How many quotes are we getting from Dan Campbell? We're going to stop the run. It's an obsession. Jack Campbell was the big addition to the front seven. He's playing in the third quarter. Translation, he's not a critical piece for us. And Mike, that doesn't add up. Am I wrong? This guy's not a starter. How does that sit with you?
I don't know that that's the case.
He was repping with the twos last week. They played him into the third quarter of the preseason.
Okay, timeout. So why can't it be the very same thing as JMO that they wanted to, quote, douse him in reps? That if I were trying to get the future captain of my defense, the future green dot player we call him, with the headset, the guy who calls my defense, then why wouldn't I want to get him more reps?
Why wouldn't you want to get Brian Branch and Sam Laporta more reps?
Because
Jahmyr Gibbs more reps?
Because they don't play the same role. I just said this. You're busting my chops.
No, but the argument is he's a young player and he's a rookie, therefore he needs the reps. That didn't hold true with the other first-round pick or the second-round picks.
It's not the same.
It's about risk tolerance.
True or false, if Jack Campbell plays, he's going to be calling your defense.
This season?
I think there's very big
potential. It's going to be Alex Anzalone.
Okay, and by mid-season, I think you'll see Jack Campbell's better than Alex Anzalone.
I would sure hope so. But, Mike, I think he's getting it right, Dan Campbell is, sitting these guys in the preseason. The Campbell thing just doesn't make sense unless I'm wrong, unless he isn't as good as...
Dan or Jack? Pick a Campbell. I'm serious. I don't know what we're talking about
Jack.
Here. Okay. I don't
Why
know.
is Jack playing into the third quarter? He's getting it right with everybody but Jack Campbell. At least that was a takeaway I had over the weekend.
Why do you want me to make sense of preseason? I can't. We've lost cabin pressure. It's never made a ton of sense, but there used to be rules. In the first game, nobody plays. In the second game, they play a series. In the third game, they play a half. In the fourth game, you play all the guys who are going to be unemployed in a week. That was the preseason. That was my life.
Not anymore.
Now, I don't know what it is. Joint practices here. I got Pat Mahomes starting, yet I don't have Jared Goff. I got Jack Campbell playing three quarters, yet the other rookies don't. What do you want me to say? I have no understanding of any of it. None. I am 42 years old. Of all the topics I've talked about in my life on this air, sports related, preseason and making sense of it in the year of David's Lord, 2023, I have no idea what I'm watching. I got nothing. I want to help you. I don't know what to do.
So you'd read nothing into him playing in the third quarter?
I tried to offer you what I kind of might be reading. You yelled at me. I don't know.
Yell is such a strong...
I don't know.
I may have raised my voice a little bit. I don't know that I yelled at you, Michael.
I just feel like this guy is
going
to be your Patrick Willis. This guy is going to be the supercomputer. He's going to be your Bobby Wagner. Maybe they want to expedite the process. Maybe there was a reason. Maybe he had a homework assignment he failed. Well, I don't know.
Campbell said it's because he played with the twos during the joint practices, therefore they wanted to get him extra reps. My point would be if he was playing with the twos during the week, they are planning on him being one of the twos. That doesn't mean it's red alert, but I just think fans need to understand this guy's not expected to start the year at the interior linebacker position. Doesn't mean he won't play, but that to me, let's read between the lines.
That would be very disappointing. Because Jahmyr Gibbs isn't going to get more carries than David Montgomery. And if Jack Campbell's not starting from day one, you took two luxury positions at 12 and 19, and neither guy's the starter.
And the appeal was they would be plug and play.
Oh, my expectation now. With running backs, I don't panic because, again, if Jahmyr Gibbs is targeted 80 times and is given, say, 150 carries,
200 plus touches.
Hey, we're good.
Yeah.
But at linebacker, I want him repping as the starter. I feel like that's the value of Jack Campbell, is he was NFL ready. Iowa linebacker. It's a thing. I'd be bummed out if he didn't play a ton. I'd be bummed out if he didn't start. So I guess maybe it's bias. I didn't want to read into it that way. You might be right. Hell, you probably are. You have a way better understanding of the preseason. I treat the preseason like outer space. I don't understand anything that's going on right now.
Do you, in general, agree with how they've handled it?
What?
Sitting the starters, no Goff. He shouldn't play this week either, right?
I'm a little more old school.
Okay.
I would have played some.
You see the drop-off, though, right? Specifically offensive depth. They don't know who their third running back is, their fifth receiver is, the backup quarterback.
I don't know who my third receiver is.
I'm being generous. The point is they don't have a lot of offensive depth. So what I don't want to do is get injured because I'm Tommy Tough Guy playing my starters in the preseason.
That part I agree with. I'm just saying I hate the idea of my starters getting no reps. That does bother me because, Dan Campbell goes out there and says they're already game planning for Kansas City. Well, that's hard to do when your guys haven't really had live reps. Now, the new hotness is joint practices.
They count those as live reps.
Okay. Well, then if you're comfortable and your guys have an understanding and you believe your guys are dialed in, I guess I'm a blockhead. I have no career sacks in the NFL, but I look at it like you're not replacing live action when it's Thursday night in Arrowhead. So joint practices be damned. But that's why they get paid the big bucks. I just don't understand how Mahomes does play and Goff doesn't, or how Campbell's out there for 3 quarters, but yet this guy isn't. Jim, I honestly, any theory you offer, I'm game to listen. Okay. If you believe, hey, he's not a starter, and this is why I believe that, okay. I still believe on opening night, I'd like to think there's going to be 30 or 40 defensive snaps where Jack Campbell's on that field. I'd be very disappointed. But also,
I'm just bracing the fan base for that. That I think when the season begins against Kansas City, Campbell will not be a starting linebacker.
Hey, David, let me
It doesn't have to be an international incident, but I just want to brace the fan base for it based on what we saw this weekend.
David, when Jim fills in for Rico, should we brace for broad-based overreactions? Maybe this is something I'm learning about my buddy over here.
What are the other overreactions I've had?
Anytime you open your mouth. Have you ever heard your
gonna character assassinate me for 3 hours still? We got plenty of show left.
Have you ever heard yourself on a Saturday? Oh my God, the Tigers will never recover from this loss. Jim, they're 10 games under 500. Let it go. Nobody cares.
I will say this about the preseason and the starters and Jack Campbell. I'll say this, and it may be weak, but if you trust Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, then you have to trust Brad Campbell and Dan Holmes.
In Dan Campbell, we trust is what David says.
The names are Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, Jim. I didn't get that right,
What
Kenny.
about Danny Holmes and Brad Campbell?
And what I mean by that is,
Too many Campbells.
To Mike's point about we never know what we get in the preseason, I don't know what they're working on with Jack Campbell. I can't say. I don't know.
Like, why are the Giants playing Daniel Jones and Darren Waller?
Right.
Hey, your season's over. You lose either.
Right.
Yet, I can't get Jared Goff on the field.
But, right, exactly. But then the other end, you look at it and you say, well, Andy Reid's won a couple championships, and he's playing his starters. So then which is the right way? I don't know what the right way is. But, you have to trust
Guys,
Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell.
Here's the other thing. I can't take anything out of these games. The only thing I was going into preseason looking to not study, but just to value was J-Mo. With him gone, I don't care about anything. I don't care about any of it. I'm ready for Thursday night in Kansas City. I mean, I can give you what my inherent bias is about playing my quarterback a little, but beyond that, oh my God, have you seen Melifonwu? I'll see him Thursday night against the Chiefs. No, I'm saying I've never been that person. So I don't know that you're wrong. I guess what does the average fan even get out of this? Like, what are you, okay, are you, here, how about this? Are you willing to go as far now to go, hey, boy, I tell you, big takeaways from this weekend against the Jags. This team can't stop the run.
No.
Is that what we're doing?
No, and I haven't done that.
I didn't
overreaction.
I didn't accuse you of that.
You've made some salacious comments, and we're only an hour into the show.
This team cannot stop the run.
I'm throwing a flag.
I'm Jim Costa.
I'm throwing a flag.
We should turn Jim into one of those CBS Sports Minute things.
Another flag.
This Saturday against the Jaguars, it was supposed to be a party.
You know what? I'm just happy you listen to me on the weekends. It's a compliment. I'm going to take that as a
Jags had
compliment.
different ideas.
Appreciate that, Mike.
I'm JC.
You think the JC at the end, the heart out.
Damon Amendolara. David, what do the ticket texters have to say? Let's overreact together.
Okay, I'll read the ones here. Jim, you need to chill out. Campbell is probably just not as ready as the others or needs more reps. Calm down. Nonsense. It takes a lot longer to learn the green dot, someone says. It does make sense that Campbell is playing because they want to see what he can do in that role. The backups are garbage. What happened to all this so-called depth the Lions have? Heard all off-season. This was deep from Mike. Lighten up, Cookies. He has more responsibilities than the others. Okay.
I don't know if you are or are not, and I want to state that for the record. I'm not accusing James Anthony Costa of overreacting.
Sounds like you are.
I'm not. I promise. I don't understand anything about the preseason these days. I don't know what do you as a fan take out of it? I mean, our job is to come on the air and tell you what, this is part of my problem. We are in the most excruciating part of the year. When football's not even close, mentally I can work through it. But when we're this close to the forbidden fruit, I find it very difficult because this is the time you want to extrapolate data and you want to be able to this is what I saw. It's nonsense. All of it. Jack Campbell in the third quarter, I'm like,
All right, turn the mics off. We'll check back in 10 days.
Well, no, that's why it's excruciating. Because what I don't do is, look, a lot of radio hosts in this country, well, we'll see how it all plays out down the line. I'm JC. I don't do that. But it's hard to come on Pierre.
Mike, it was an obvious takeaway for me that you didn't play your starters, you didn't play key rookies, and there was one exception. Explain the exception. That's all I said.
Maybe he was put in timeout. I don't know. Did you use the same line of thinking with J-Mo week one?
J-Mo didn't do much last season. Jack Campbell played football all of last season.
That's fair. Okay, then I'm out of ideas.
J-Mo's behind schedule.
Oh, no.
They're trying to get him back caught up to
he's
schedule.
He's a Hall of Famer, according to a quarter of his fan base.
Okay.
248-539.
Can we not do J-Mo today, please?
I don't want to.
Okay.
Well, we don't have to. Because guess what? He's pulled a Roberto. He ain't at work. 248-539. What? What? He's hurt. He's not at work.
Stop.
Is that a groan in the background?
He's making fun of me now for changing names.
It's like the Costanza voicemail. You've reached J-Mo. 248-539-9797. We'll get your phone calls next after another grotesque Costa overreaction.